I think the White House screwed over the Bay Area with their World Cup schedule. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying that this is purely speculation on my end. However, I'm going to use previous statements from both the White House, from the president, and just looking over at the schedule to build a case as to why I think my argument makes some sense. And of course, given the fact that I've lived in DC for over a decade, I know a thing or two about political revenge and machinations y el juego sucio que se hace en la política. Now, a lot of you in the Bay Area are pissed the hell off at the quality of the games that you got, but we're going to look specifically at Group J. You got two games from that group, Austria versus Jordan and Jordan versus Algeria. Now, the reason why many of you in the Bay Area are so pissed is because you could have gotten either Argentina versus Algeria or Argentina versus Austria to be played at your stadium, at Levi's Stadium, as opposed to these two games. Now, the reason why I say that the White House might have had a hand in this process is because Trump has suggested that World Cup matches should be moved from cities like San Francisco because he, quote unquote, deemed them unsafe. When in reality, the reason why he wanted to remove those games was because San Francisco didn't want to do any ice raids with him. And so look, you knew FIFA was not going to move any games from San Francisco, okay? They already signed those hundreds of millions of dollars in contracts, so they were not going to risk their bag just because Trompito wants to deport a bunch of Latinos. So the next best thing that they could have done for Trump is to say, all right, well, let's not give the Bay Area any of the Argentina games. And instead hook up Texas, which is Republican, and Dallas, which is Republican, and Jerry Jones is one of the biggest Republican Party contributors, two of the Argentina games. And remember, San Francisco is also home to one of his biggest political rivals, Nancy Pelosi. And we all know homeboy Trump don't like Pelosi now one goddamn bit. So look, Trompito couldn't get the games out of the Bay Area, so the next best thing he could do is mess with their money. And so now the Bay Area has to contend with quote-unquote subpar games compared to the ones that they could have gotten. I know similar arguments have been made about Seattle, but quite frankly, you couldn't really do much about the games in Seattle because the group landed the way it did. Look, this is, again, all speculative. I might be totally off the mark on this one. But look, being a resident of DC for over a decade, this wouldn't surprise me, well, not one damn bit. I mean, hell, the CIA has orchestrated or attempted to orchestrate operations against U.S. citizens. If you don't believe me, look up Operation Northwoods. Look, again, I might be wrong, but am I?